Hello race fans, I'm Chris Reilly. I'm here for dailyfantasysportsrankings.com to bring my weekly daily fantasy NASCAR post-qualifying picks video. Before getting into that, if you're not a DFSR member yet, make sure to sign up. It's going to give you access to our member chat room. I'm in there discussing NASCAR pre-lock, usually in there Saturday night as well. And I cover NHL, do sheets for NBA, cover MLB and NFL as well as PGA for DFSR. So I'm in there pretty much 24/7, 365. When you go to the sign up page, you're going to get a 7-day free trial right now, and then you have two options after that free trial is out, either $14.95 a month, which is going to give you our projections, and then to get our optimizer for the NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL, it's going to be $29.95 a month. One subscription covers all the sports and the member chat as well. Get over, check it out today. With that, let's get into this week's picks. This week, we've got the Reilly Auto Parts 500 from Texas Motor Speedway. Something different. It's a 1.5 mile track. The one thing that is different here, in 2017, it went through a repave. They took away some banking in turns 1 and 2. It's now at 20 degrees. Turns 3 and 4 are at 24 degrees. Creates a little bit of a problem for teams, crew chiefs, when setting up the car. You can usually be good in one end of the track, but not in the other. A lot of talk this week so far, radio interviews from TV and stuff throughout practice and qualifying, is that turns 1 and 2 is going to present the biggest problem for teams, being a little bit flatter there. So we're going to be paying attention to that a little bit as we get into the race and see who makes the right adjustments into their car. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the cheat sheet. We're going to look at my core plays, with this being the third race of the season with the full package. Las Vegas and Auto Club Speedway were the other two, where we've got the air ducts on the front of the car. We've got the tapered spacer, reducing the horsepower to 550 horsepower, and we've got that rear drag there as well, creating some downforce on the track. So we've got the full package here. So what I'm going to do is not only look at season, the 6 races that we've seen so far in the season, how drivers have done, looking at intermediate tracks, 1.5 mile tracks, how guys have done, as well as how guys have done on the Atlanta and Auto Club with that new package, just kind of see how they go. Practice times, as you'll see, is probably weighed a little bit less in the 1 lap times, just because of the drafting style, and the practices give us maybe a little bit of false rating. We've seen some Chevys up top not do so well in the race, so I've kind of taken some weight off those 1 lap times and put a little bit more weight, as you can see here, on the 10 lap averages and then the qualifying differential. That's kind of your place differential indicator there. Guys that have good, practice 2, which was the first practice on Saturday, was rained out, so we've only got the 1 practice post-qualifying to look at. So there is this qualifying practice differential is just the difference between practice 3 time and qualifying time. With that, let's get in and look at some core plays for this week. Kyle Busch at the top. He's red hot. He has finished 6th or better in all the races. This is the point standings right now. This is from racingreference.info. Kyle Busch, he's the only one that's got 5 top 5s. He's the only one with 6 top 10s in races. And if we go and look at his results from the Atlanta Fontana, maybe not the greatest for him. 6th in Atlanta, or sorry, looking at Las Vegas, 3rd in Las Vegas. He won in Fontana. So really good with the new package. Definitely going to be a core driver for me this week. Up next, we got Brad Keselowski starting 12th, so that's going to give us some place differential value. And while he was only 19th in the 3rd practice, which was final practice there on Saturday, just ended here about an hour or 2 ago, he was 4th in 10-lap averages, so definitely looking at him. Again, the guys in green are going to be my core drivers in my player pool this week. Blue are going to be some guys that have some GPP exposure to, and then yellow is going to be my value plays. Red are guys that I am fading. I will go over those guys as well. So Kevin Harvick stands out next on my list. He is 5th cheapest out of this group, which I really like. On DraftKings, he's starting 23rd. He showed top 10 speed in that final practice, including 10-lap averages. So definitely looking at him as a core play. I think he's, his floor is going to be a top 10. And, his upside is always a win. So starting 23rd, I think it makes a lot of sense. Ryan Blaney, probably more to the GPP side of things, but I did list him as a core play just because he is starting 13th, showed top 5 speed. He's really come along lately. We'll go and look at Blaney's last race. He started out his first 4 or 3 races of the season outside the top 20, and he's put top 5s together in each of his last 3 races. So definitely looking at Blaney and Keselowski as the leaders of that Penske group. Logano in there, for GPPs as well. Kurt Busch stands out. He's actually #1 in my overall rankings post-qualifying when I put my weights together. He is starting 30th this week and showed top 5 speeds. Kind of that qualifying, it's still a little bit of a, pardon my words, I guess, pardon my French, bit of a shit show right now. NASCAR's definitely going to have to fix the qualifying again. Kurt Busch got caught up. So he's going to be starting 30th, but showed top 5 speed. Same goes for Kyle Larson, starting 22nd. He did make the second round, but didn't make it out of the second round. Showed top 10 speeds in 1 lap time, and then was 3rd behind Kurt Busch in those 10-lap averages in that final practice. So definitely looking at those teammates together this week. And if you're doing team stacks, that's up there as one of my #1 from a points per dollar perspective. Definitely #1, 95 and 9200 on DraftKings, those two. Bowyer and Elliott I got as GPP plays only, just because Elliott's been really good here. He started 3rd, showed speed outside top 10 in that final practice. They're going to have to make some adjustments in the race to find that top 5, top 10 speed, but he's been good here, so I think he's going to be lower owned as well. And with that previous success, I think he's going to do well. We're going to go ahead and just have a look at his 2 races with the new package. So he was 9th at Las Vegas and 11th at Fontana, so nothing too great, so that's kind of why I got him listed as a GPP. Clint Bowyer, if you've seen some interviews, he was very unhappy with qualifying once again. He'll start 25th. He didn't make it into that second round. Didn't really show much speed in practices there as well, so he's going to be GPP, but a little bit lower. I like Elliott a little more than Bowyer this week, even with that place differential that Bowyer gives you. Eric Almirola stands out as a core play. Didn't unload off the truck very well, 26th in opening practice, qualified 21st, but then made some big adjustments, 15th in practice 3, final practice there, and then he was 10th in 10-lap average. I think they've made adjustments, and they're going to be back up there as a top 10 car, so starting 21st makes a lot of sense at 8,400, 10.5 on FanDuel. Staying away from Denny Hamlin this week. He hasn't been good here. He's been very up and down, a lot of finishes outside of 30th, and he's kind of gives you that negative place differential value. I like other guys around him, as you can see, so I'm not going to have exposure to everyone, so he's definitely one I'm going to be going away from. Very close with Martin Truex Jr. Haven't quite decided on him yet. Johnson and Dillon, just because they're both starting top 5, I don't think they're top 5 cars. I think they're more like around 10th. Austin Dillon more in that 10th to 15th, even, the downside's even worse for him there. So definitely fading them. Same story with Suarez and Byron, starting top 5. I think they're top 10, top 15, top 20 cars, somewhere in there is the downside. So avoiding them. Same with Daniel Hemrick. And then down at the bottom, looking at the value plays this week, there's a few that stand out to me, and we'll look at them for a few different reasons. Paul Menard stands out just because he started 14th, showed some top 10 speeds, more for GPPs, but I don't mind him. He's in a little bit better car. He's in it's Penske equipment that he's running there. So the reason I got him yellow instead of blue. Buescher and DiBenedetto are going to be like my pivots. I'm not going to have a whole lot of exposure to them in GPP formats, but I'm not going to fade them either. David Ragan is going to be one of my favorite in the 38 car. Started in 28th. Didn't show a ton more speed, better than that starting position. 22nd and 10-lap averages was good. I think, his ceiling's probably a 20th place finish. Floor is probably like that 25, 26th place finish. And just going and looking at how he has done so far this year, there's a couple things that stand out. Las Vegas, he was 28th. Fontana, he was 25th. So he looks like, pretty much a 25th place car. Here at Texas, and go look at his history here as well, 24th, 23rd. So top 25 finishes in both races last year. So stands out for the price as a solid play that you could even use in cash games at 6K, 4,500 FanDuel. Gives you a lot of room to go up and get playing some stars and scrubs, getting 2 of the elite guys this week. Ross Chastain, the guy that raced every race. If you have been watching NASCAR this year, he has been in every single Truck, Xfinity, and Cup race this year, and actually done quite well. He started 35th this week. We'll go look at his success at Las Vegas. 33rd. Fontana was 28th, so he looks like about a 30th place car, starting 33rd. But at that price, 5,600, 4K on FanDuel, again, stars and scrubs. If you're doing cash, stars and scrubs, I like Ragan more than Chastain. Chastain more on the GPP side of things this week. being close in that same price range. And then Parker Kligerman stands out to me as well, even cheaper on both sites. Starting 33rd, he was 23rd in final practice, 29th in 10-lap averages. He was very close in speed to those cars right, 2, 3, 4 spots in front of him. So that was good to see as well. And then just kind of looking at his races so far this year, he raced Las Vegas, he was 31st. And then here at Texas, very limited sample size with Kligerman in the Cup Series here, but he's raced Texas twice, back in 2014, so not really relevant. He was overheating. He was in a different car. He was in the number 30. In the 96th, in the same car he's in, 96. Last year in the playoffs, he finished 31st. So he looks like about a 31st, 32nd, 33rd place car. I've got all these other guys red, so I do think Darrell Wallace Jr., Bubba, Michael McDowell, Ty Dillon, I've got them all as fades just because they're starting 15th, 10th, and 9th. I don't think any of them are top 15 cars. Wallace is probably the closest to a top 15 car. Maybe go with him. I'm probably going to switch him here actually to GPP because I think a 15th place finish would be enough to get him valued at 5,500 on DraftKings, 4,500 on FanDuel, and I think a lot of people will, just because of the place differential value, go to Chastain, Ragan, and even Kligerman as well. So I think Wallace is a nice pivot off those guys. He showed some, top 10 speed, and they talked about on the radio, his crew chief was on the radio yesterday, and they said they feel like they're about a 15th, 16th place car. So I think that's enough value for him with that price tag, even losing 5 place differential points. So that covers my picks for this week. If you have any questions, make sure to jump into either the Roto Pros or the Daily Fantasy Sports Rankings chat room. I'll be in there pretty much for the rest of today, leading up to lineup lock tomorrow morning. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Jaeger_bombs9. You can also leave your comments below in the YouTube video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot coming down the line. A lot of sports going on all here at once. Crazy time of year. With that, let's go make some successful lineups and see some green screens. Good luck, everyone.